Alright, I want to make a quick video of my entire watch collection. Start in chronological order from the first watch I ever bought to the watch I most recently bought and why. I'll add a little bit of why I bought each one. Now, let's get started. These are probably the top 4 watches in my watch collection, so I just put them up front. I'll put them back into their corresponding positions. Alright, so starting with the first watch, Timex Expedition. Here's the digital watch, analog and digital. This is a pretty cool watch. This is the one watch that kind of started it all. I really like this watch, and it was the first watch I ever had. Got this one way back in high school, and I used it for years and years. It was obviously not an expensive watch. I think it was around $30 or $35 way back then, and it served me well. It's still probably the most practical watch out of my entire, well, probably not the most, one of the most practical watch out of my entire collection. 30 meters water resistance, a non-screw-down case back. This has long been discontinued. Has a janky foldable folded link bracelet, but you know, this is near and dear to my heart, so it will always stay in my collection. The next watch I bought in my collection was a Timex Ironman. It was still a fantastic watch. It still works, and nothing much else to say about this. One thing I would say is Timex does not do the best job with their water resistance. This is rated to 100 meters water resistance, but it's had water intrusion and fogging of the crystal multiple times. But it's super easy to service. I would just undo those 4 screws, pop the module out, let it dry up, put everything back in, and good to go. Alright, after the Timex Ironman, I had bought a Seiko SKX 013, and you don't see it here because I have moved it along and sold it. That was a cool watch. I just didn't like that it was about 13 millimeters in thickness. The size was great. It was about a 37 millimeter case, but it was moved along and I don't have it here. So, alright, and the next watch I purchased after that Seiko SKX 013 is this Omega Seamaster Professional 300 meters water resistance, 2561.80. So this is the Omega Seamaster that was used in the James Bond movie GoldenEye. This is actually the 36 millimeter. The screen accurate version would be the exact same watch with a quartz movement except in 41 millimeters. I have a slim wrist, so I got the exact watch except in 36 millimeters. The reason I went with a quartz movement over a automatic movement for this particular watch, I wanted a set it and forget it, absolutely headache-free watch that has a slim profile and that basically ticked all the boxes. And the boxes I was out to tick were water resistant, screw down crown, lume, quartz movement, sapphire crystal, anti-reflective coating, great legibility, a turning bezel, a very, very comfortable bracelet, something I could wear just about in every occasion. Although this is a diver's watch, it's technically not a dress watch. Dressed up enough with the bracelet and the scalloped bezel that it makes for a dressier type of watch. Feels good enough for James Bond and Prince William on his wedding day. That's good enough for me. And so I purchased a Grand Seiko SBGF001, and that's this right here. This watch is also pretty cool. I had the same idea. I wanted a watch that checks all the boxes that I mentioned earlier, just without a turning bezel or a non-diver form factor. And then I got this, and I'm really happy with this watch. It's pretty cool. It's got the 8J56 high accuracy quartz thermocompensated movement in there, and it's probably one of the best Grand Seikos ever made. The attention to detail on this particular watch is astonishing. The hour markers are both sandblasted as well as loomed. The hands are loomed. The hours hand can be independently moved from the minutes hand without hacking the watch, therefore maintaining the high accuracy. Alright, after this watch I purchased a Grand Seiko SBGX061. This is an awesome watch, and I kind of use this in my core watch collection as a dress watch. And it's high accuracy quartz. I don't wear it that often, so I really like that it's high accuracy quartz. And so if I leave it unused for an extended period of time, I pick it up, and the time is pretty much down to the second. I have found that this watch only loses or gains about 5 seconds a year, and it is thermocompensated. It has the 9F62 movement. Now if you see the seconds hand, it's actually a double step seconds hand, so if you look at it very closely, it looks like it glides from minute to minute. That's because it's a double tick. So if you taking a video of this in slow motion to actually see the doubles tick for every second. 100 meters of water resistance, non-screw down crown, date window, extremely reflective hour markers, and no lume on this one. The one thing I wanted to explain about this watch is its dial. The dial of this watch is incredible. It's got this really dark, velvety dial that pretty much sucks up and does not reflect any light. And so that, with the highly reflective hands and hour markers, makes a fantastic contrast that just pops. Another thing about this watch, the updated version of this watch has Grand Seiko up here and nothing down here. I bought this before that new one was released, and I really like that it says Seiko and Grand Seiko. It's kind of cool. This does have a flat sapphire crystal. Next purchase, which was my Rolex 116,000, so 116000 reference number. This is absolutely my favorite watch. If I could only keep 2 watches in my collection, this would be one of them, along with the G-Shock 5610. But this watch absolutely ticks all of the boxes. I have an entire detailed review on this watch itself. This is a fantastic watch, and I really, really like it. Next, the watch I purchased next was the G-Shock 5610. I'm not going to say literally anything about this watch other than this is the best watch ever made, in my opinion. So this watch, as well as this watch, would be my... I have a two watch collection video, and I think if I could only keep 2 of my watches out of all of these, it'd be these 2. Anyways, moving on. After the G-Shock, I had purchased a Seiko diver. It's not this model, but I purchased the Seiko SNE011. I didn't particularly like the styling. It also did not have a sapphire crystal. This right here is the SNE573, but I sold the SNE011. So after that, I bought the G-Shock 5600. This watch, just for completion's sake. At this point, I think my collection started to become more of a hobby than actually what I wanted to use. And so I purchased this, and this watch, a G-Shock 5600 for only $35. I was like, it'd be a crime not to buy it, so I bought it. And I also, I do use my 5610 over the 5600 because this is actually ever so slightly smaller than this watch. This is a little bit bulkier. Not to mention the feature set on the 5610 is far more robust. So this one has atomic, solar, has world time, and also the case itself is slightly, ever so slightly slimmer and smaller than the 5600. And also the display numerals on this are far better. Bought the SNE 573, which is a solar quartz Seiko diver. This is was released at the time the SKX was discontinued and replaced with the same styling of the Seiko 5s. And the Seiko 5s I didn't really care for because the case sizes were larger and it lost its screw down crown as well as its ISO rating. If I'm going to wear this is personal to me, but if I'm going to wear a diver styled watch, it better have the ISO specifications to go along with that. And as you can see here, these are both true divers watches with loomed screw down crown, 200 plus water resistance, a loomed pip for the turning rotating bezel, a loomed seconds hand. Next purchase was a SNX S76, and here you can see it here, but if you look very closely, if somebody who has a keen eye, you can see that it actually has a 01V0 case. So I actually took the module out of the SNX S79 and modded it, and I put it in the case, the 01V0 case that I harvested from SNK361. And I love this case. I think of all my watches, this is one of my favorite cases. If anyone's thinking about doing that mod, I would say not to do it. Another mod on this watch is, if you can tell, it has a sapphire crystal. These come with Hardlex crystals. I removed that and upgraded it to a sapphire crystal. You could probably see that blue tinted anti-reflective coating. So this watch is really cool. The only reason I would suggest people do not do that mod is because that movement, they both take the 7S26 movements, but how they are held and they fit in the case is slightly different. So I don't know if it's because of the dial or the movement holder, but when it fits into the case, it's not a perfectly snug fit. So after a few days of wear, the movement will shift down into the case, and the rotor will scrape the case back on the 01V0 case. So if I had to go over and do this again, I would have just bought the SNK361, upgraded the crystal to a sapphire crystal, and used it as is. I might still do that, but I really love this dial. It's like the poor man's Rolex, or the discreet Rolex. If you can see, the styling here is just about exactly the same. And so I think that's really cool. And that's what I was trying to go after, is I had already purchased this, but I wanted like a beater version of this, or something I could wear every day without having to, have it be more understated with the same styling. And that's why I made this watch. Then bought a SUR 317. This watch has since been discontinued, and I think this is one of the best watches Seiko made. Seiko, with the release of this watch and this watch, it looks like they finally got the memo. What I mean by that is they finally listened to what people were asking for, and they pretty much released a watch that ticks all the boxes. On this one, they improved the styling of the dial over the SNE 011 with nice hour markers, non-oval hour markers, and their handset was really cool. And then when they released this literally checks all the boxes. It checks all the boxes. It's 100 meters of water resistance. Has loom at every hour marker, including the hands, which is very discreet. It's super thin. I think it's only about 9 or 10 millimeters thick. It's got excellent dimensions, as I mentioned, 100 meters water resistance, and on top of it, it has a sapphire crystal with a screw down case back. And so all of that, I bought this for like $100. That is absolutely insane. I don't know why it's been discontinued. This is technically the woman's version. Although it's 36 millimeters, I wear it and I love it. And it's super slim. I use this as the dress watch counterpart to this. So I'll show you kind of what I did. I made a budget 3-watch collection that were just at 2 different price points. And I'll go over that towards the end of the video. Bought a F91W. I bought this one a long time ago, but I let my children use it and they pretty much lost it, so I can't find it. So I just recently repurchased this. I made a satire, there's so many reviews on this, but I made a kind of a comical video about this. I titled it The Best F91W Review, and I call it a satire review on it. And then my very last purchase, which is this watch here. I bought it used. This is a Swatch Irony. And it is kind of ironic in why or how I purchased this. At this point, it was totally a hobby. I think it really became a hobby at the point I purchased this. And I'll put out which watches I bought for hobby's sake. And I would say it would be this one. Yeah, these 3 watches I kind of bought for hobby's sake. But the reason I ended up buying this was I had a $5 credit on eBay. What can I buy that with a $5 discount that would be a significant % discount? And I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I want to get a used Swatch, because I didn't have Swatch as part of my collection, and I didn't want to spend more than $15 after the discount. So I found this watch, $20, and the crystal. This is an acrylic crystal. It was scratched. It was my size. It's 37 millimeters in diameter, and it's a stainless steel case, so it's kind of pretty robust. So I said, you know what? Let me give this a shot. So I used the credit towards it, and it came out to like $14 shipped to my house. And as you can see, this crystal has no more scratches on it. I buffed everything out. I used toothpaste, a little bit of elbow grease, and a cotton rag. And with a little bit of sandpaper, then I polished it off with the toothpaste, and pretty much there's absolutely 0 scratches. It's just like brand new. And so this is a super, super fun watch. I don't think it's possible to get a watch that's this nice with this much heritage quality for that price. And the timekeeping on this is fantastic. And the band that I placed this on is a $1 watch band. So it's a kid's watch that I bought for $1. It has that came with this awesome silicone band, and so I don't have a more comfortable watch band, but I modified it and I basically put it on this watch. And so this is a $15 watch. I'm pretty content with my collection. And lastly, I want to talk about my favorite watches. And so if I were to have my full-on watch collection, it would be this one, the Omega Diver. So that would cover a diver watch, my beater, or all-around Casio G-Shock Square. A dress watch would be this, and the all-around, just general use casual watch would be this. So this is my 3-watch collection, and so it would be this casual watch, diver, and a dress watch, and then my digital watch. And so that's my, I guess, 4-watch watch collection. And so this is obviously pretty expensive. Create a budget collection that would mirror the same styling as well as the same uses I use these watches for. Actually, these 2 were replaced by this one, the Seiko SUR 317. It's like a poor man's Grand Seiko. It's got the exact same styling. And then for the diver, I replaced it with the SNE 573. And so for a budget 3-watch collection, or for do it all 3-watch collection, I have this. So a diver and a casual / dress everyday watch, and a digital watch. Believe it or not, I'm as happy with these 3 as I would be with these. I don't really feel like I'm missing out, which is crazy to say considering the price differential. I mean, here we're looking at a close to a $7,000 to $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000 watch collection right here. And that's totally absurd. And I think it's cool that I have it, but totally unnecessary. I think I get the same amount of joy out of these right here, because they check all the boxes all the same, and they have their own features, and it covers all the same roles as the other one. They're just not nearly as pricey, and their fit and finish, I mean, to me, is just as good. I mean, of course, I mean, they're apples and oranges comparison, but I think the fit and finish is fantastic on these three, and these are three of my most, favorite watches, along with these. But of everything, as I mentioned earlier, if I could only keep two, it would be these two. If I could only have a 2-watch collection, I would probably keep just, and I was on a budget, I'd take this and this. And the reason is because that's right there is only a $200 watch collection. I think this can be found for like $95 to $100, and this one I paid $100 for. They have a larger men's version of this. Other thing about this dial, this dial goes from black to blue to navy blue to bright blue. It's really cool. But that's a $200 watch collection that pretty much does everything, because this could be used as a casual watch as well as a dress watch, interchangeably with, because it's loomed, it could be the only everyday watch you have. I would say put this on a little bit of the dressier end of the spectrum, and then if you really wanted, you could add another Seiko 5. That would make it a $300 watch collection. I would probably add the SNK 361, or if you had, you could always add this one. That's what I would do. And that's still sub 500, well under 500. Now, if I only had $30, which is insane, but like if I only had $30, and I wanted a 2-watch collection, it would be this and this. These are both iconic watches that are super cool and super fun, and they're excellent quality. Actually, I'm going to make a video on that. I'm going to make watch collections at different price points next, and of what I would like. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.